Well, I figured since I was doing it remote, least I could do is bust out the Toonie Tunes. And Facebook can't fuck with me because I actually do own the rights to this music. So, own them hoes. Oh, we got two. We got three. Oh man, we better jump this off. I'm be on CPT, but I'm on the East Coast, man. So I'm an hour ahead of most of the home team. Most of the home team is on Central Standard Time, so that's why I'm doing this a little bit late on my side. It's a little bit early for you guys, and it's a little bit late on my side. So we're gonna jump it off. If you're watching right now, suffer through the intro so we can get that out of the way and pay a little BILLS. Welcome to the Angry Nerd Podcast. My name is Arshawn Wade, aka the Angry Nerd. The Angry Nerd Podcast is taped in front of a live Facebook audience from my mom's basement. The Angry Nerd Podcast is brought to you in part by a few bad life choices and a couple of shattered dreams. The Angry Nerd Podcast is made possible by money that my wife gives me from my SSI check, a chick named Joni, and proceeds from listeners like you. If you want to be one of the listeners that helps contribute to this show getting better and better, go to Cash App. My Cash App is $, The Angry Nerd. But pump your brakes, because I'm not glorified internet begging out here in these nerd streets. Hell no. Pick up one of the Angry Nerd Podcast t-shirts. They come in colors black and white for sizes small through extra large. We can get yours out to you usually on Fridays for the very low price of $20 plus shipping and handling. But since I am on location and I don't trust Kevin to make your orders and get them out right, we're not doing shirts right now. So if you have ordered a shirt sometime in the past 30 days, I'm sorry, we'll send your money back to you because ain't no shirts, nigga. Anyways, tonight's topic is brought to you in part by none other than my personal life experiences. That's right, but people want to talk about it because what happens after motherfuckers stop fucking with each other? I heard Meg Thee Stallion say something in a song and it spurred a post. Please don't wish me well if you used to give me hell. And I was like, oh, that bitch spitting. That bitch spitting. Because how many people know that I don't give a fuck about your well wishes, motherfucker. I'm just so happy to be away from your dog ass. You know what I mean? Has anyone had that experience? Everybody knows what that's like. Everyone has a horror story about some guy or some girl who didn't treat them the right way in a relationship. And now that they're doing all right in their life, now the motherfucker wants to come and say, hey, I'm glad to see you doing all right. Really? After you almost killed me? You'd be the last person that I would think wants to see me doing well because you almost took me off the set, baby. Okay? So I'm sorry if I'm not thrilled about you being happy for me and what's going on in my life, because you almost killed me. And it's like, it's shit like that makes me think something like forgiveness is a farce. Because people will say, like, oh, I forgive them, oh, I'm in a better place or whatever. And I'll be like, maybe I'm just petty. But I call bullshit a little bit because I thought that everything was cool with me and this particular person that used to give me some hell and is now saying nice things to me. I used to, I think I was over that until this motherfucker comes out of the blue talking about, hey, I see God blessing you in your life and everything like that. I just want to tell you, I appreciate, the time that I got to spend with you and yada, yada, yada. And gives me this whole mea culpa, you know what I mean? And I was like, so? You know what I mean? Like, bitch, I don't care. It's like, I've said this before, man, when it comes to being in love with a girl, I'm like a white boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I will be all the way in love, you know what I'm saying? So, bitch, I was like reading Don't Kill Myself books and shit like that after you, you know what I'm saying? And now you're talking about, hey, I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. Bitch, so the fuck what? Okay? And I don't think that I'm supposed to be nice to somebody who wasn't kind to me. You know what I mean? I feel like we get so much pressure in society to act contrary to how we feel. If someone disrespects you, it's like it's taboo to be upset about somebody treating you badly. It's like it's taboo to not be be the bigger person. Hold on, let me be little. Let me be the little motherfucker right now because it feels a little bit better when I use that little man energy with people like that than it does trying to be the bigger person. It seems like I got shitted on then, and it kind of feels like I'm getting shitted on now because I can't even nanny boo boo because people are going to say you're being the bad guy. You know, and there's a part of me that doesn't give a shit about somebody thinking that I'm the bad guy, but there's a big part of me that doesn't want people to think I'm an asshole or I'm a piece of shit. But I don't want somebody who treated me badly to have access to me. So I blocked the lady on every social media platform and also phone number. I blocked the lady and then I unblocked her. And this is why I unblocked her. I unblocked her because I felt like to block this lady was too intentional. Like I felt like the act of blocking her meant that she had a little more power in my life than I really want to give her, you know what I mean, ever. So I unblocked her because that's too intentional. No, I want to deal with whatever feelings crop up when this rambunctious, diabolical broad decides that she wants to ruin my day by texting me or calling me. I haven't answered the phone. I haven't answered the phone when she called, but she does text. And I get the text message and I'm just like, what do you want? You know, like, what do you want? Are you trying to spark something back up? Because I promise you, if you're trying to spark something back up, you're about to get disrespected. You're about to be disrespected. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to disrespect somebody's baby. But am I supposed to negate the feelings that this lady inspires? Am I supposed to, where in society is it written that you have to put your feelings in your back pocket and take the high road? Take the moral high road. This is what I found out. The moral high road only exists amongst people with similar morals. And based on the way my moral compass is set up, this lady has absolutely zero. So I don't want to take the moral high road. I want to be an a-hole and just tell her, look, kill yourself. Here's a razor blade. It's rusty. I found it in the gutter. I want you to cut your wrists and jump off the tallest building in the city. You know, and that would make us even. That would make us even. I don't want your well wishes. I don't want your kind words. I don't want your energy. I actually want to erase you from my whole memory. I want to erase you from the life of Arshawn Wade. You know what I mean? If in the book of Arshawn Wade, the chapter that you're in, or the page, or the little corner of that motherfucking page that you're in, I want to erase. I want white out. I want to put white out right there, and you don't exist for me. But that's not the way that life works out. I was telling some young man who thinks he's a man earlier this week, avoidance isn't the answer. And I'll tell you, it was giving this young man a hard time on Facebook and challenging his philosophy on manhood and his philosophy on life that helped me unblock this lady first and then deal with the feelings that crop up. I ask myself, what are you feeling? How often do we find ourselves in a situation where we're feeling something that is foreign, and instead of dealing with it, we'll smoke or drink or party or gossip it away? You understand? So I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to just talk shit about it. I want to really get down, drill down, and identify where these feelings are coming from. Why is it that I'm dealing with this lady? And here's what happened. I dealt with her, and we talked about this several months ago. We talked about mom issues several months ago, but I realized that they are still there. When you have certain hang-ups in life, like mommy issues or daddy issues or stuff like that, sometimes you can trick yourself into a false reality that you have dealt with that, you've conquered that, boom, and I'm good. No, what happens is oftentimes these issues crop back up in another way, and they have to be dealt with again, or you'll be setting the stage to be in a bad situation once again. And I was setting the stage to put myself in a bad situation once again. I've been in bad situations with ladies before. So I recognize all the signs that this was not the right kind of lady, but I liked her. But once she ran afoul She ran afoul to where a person of my level of intelligence could not look past as betrayal and treachery. I decided that I had to part ways with the lady. And lo and behold, oh, the boy got some muscles now and some handsomeness, and and a couple of friends and a dollar or two in his pocket. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition after life's fucked this bitch around a little bit, and after a couple of raggedy ass baby daddies and failed attempts at love. The nerd's starting to look pretty tempting, pretty scrumptious. I remember a nice guy that I fucked around pretty swell. He was a nice guy. I'm sure he'll forgive me. Wrong, bitch. I'm sorry. I just think that people like that are so irresponsible and lack accountability to a degree that it makes them cripple. It makes them cripple and unsuitable to be around other people's emotions. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to somebody. Daryl, what up, boy? I see you, man. One of my fellow Facebook comedians, Daryl Davis. I get more than my fair share of chuckles off of that brother's page. If you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you want somewhere to go steal memes and funny shit? Holla at my boy Daryl Davis. Follow him on Facebook and jack his shit. I do. Anyways, I don't want to seem like I'm here to beat up women. I'm just beating up this particular bitch. But the thing about it is, I see the situation for what it is. And I recognize that life hasn't been all that kind to you, bitch. And the years haven't been all that nice to you. You're not really as fine as you used to be. It's like you got the silhouette of a bad bitch, but she's weather beaten. You know what I mean? Been down through there. Got to down through there sometime or another. And you can see it. You could tell. Everything about it says there's one of those niggas that she got kids with has stressed her smooth the fuck out. Because I'm petty, of course, I had to go to her page and check her out because I haven't given a shit about her life. But so let me go see where you've been and what's been going on with you. And it's like pretty typical Facebook shit. You know what I mean? You got the girl who used to be a bad bitch with 3 or 4 kids now, who's been humbled by life. And now she's ready for a good man. She's ready for a good man. And let me tell you something. First of all, the nerd's not that. Second of all, you sure as fuck wouldn't be trying to be that for you. And since I have been extremely handsome, since I've been the total package, since I've been the baddest motherfucker, I am the goddamn opening act, the main event, and the goddamn after party all rolled into one. I'm the shit, right in the toilet, not flushed, with no tissue on top of it. That's me. And bitch, I can't put myself down there on that level with you. You know what I mean? I got a saying. I tell a motherfucker, if I want to be with a hard-headed bitch with a bunch of kids, I would be at my ex-wife's house. I would be at my first wife's house knocking on the door trying to get over there with her. Because she a hard-headed bitch with a bunch of kids. I'm not going to deal with a hard-headed bitch with a bunch of kids. Oh, shit, one of her friends is on here. Hey, girl. But anyway, she going to tell her. She going to be like, look what he said. But no, she know what I say. I say this shit to her. But if I was going to be with a hard-headed bitch with a bunch of kids, I would be pining away from my first wife. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't the case. So I'm not going to put up with a bitch that's hard-headed and she got some kids. Hell no. But I had to really process this because oftentimes men will just, most men in that situation, they would have fucked that girl. Just to get, I've done that before too. But on the road to revenge, dig 2 graves. True saying. True saying. Story time with Uncle Arshawn. The reason why I didn't fuck that girl is because I have the previous experience of doing that. So I set out on the road to revenge. I'm standing here with all my muscles and all my beauty in front of a bitch who did me wrong when I was Urkel. I was Urkel. She did me wrong. When I showed up at Stefan Urkel and I walked in this place where she was at, it was like a little house party barbecue situation. I stepped in that motherfucker like Stefan Urkel. You hear me? I was in that mother. Hey, I wanted her to see me. You know what I'm saying? Cause she was still like what do you call that? Like a trophy. You know what I'm saying? Like this was a notch on the belt. Like I gotta get her. I was like, I know what I'm going to do because now I'm Stefan Urkel. I have the power So I was like, I'm going to make this bitch fall in love with me and then break her motherfucking heart. I'm getting her. That's right. The nerd did that. Evil, very evil. That's what happens. That's what happens when you've been without power and you've been marginalized for a long time. That's what happens to a lot of nerds. And then you get power, like becoming really handsome. Like, listen, I got real handsome and I got her. And then I fell in love with the bitch. I broke weak. I didn't stick to the plan. I caught feelings. And 10 years later, the bitch booyah'd me again. 10 years later, she got me again. Heartbroken. I was like, wow. So I already have the life experience of knowing that you don't do that. You know what I mean? When you set out for revenge, dig 2 graves. Because I set out, I knew, and I did too. I got her to like me. I had her all around. I was like, oh, yes. I was like, oh, yes, my plan is working. And I got around this girl, and here's the thing, it's funny. It's funny how it works out because the dynamics never changed. Even though I was Stefan Urkel, to her, I was still Urkel. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I know you really Urkel, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, without your little outfit, you know how girls do you. Without your little outfit on and your little haircut and shit, and your little muscles, nigga, you still Urkel, So quickly, I was treated like the ugly duckling again. And, yeah, that was a heartache that I 100% put on myself. So cut to the situation later. I knew not to do that. I already knew, oh, don't do that. That ain't for me. Because my punk ass will catch some feelings for real. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not going to do that. But does this lady still have some sort of emotional effect on me? I had to really drill down on that because I don't want there to be some rambunctious broad out in the streets who has the ability to evoke some sort of emotion from me. If somebody can evoke emotions from you, then that means they can essentially control you. You understand what I'm saying? So if you can get me to behave in a certain kind of way based on your actions, if you can elicit a certain reaction from me based on what you're doing or the feelings that you can evoke from me, then I just gave up my life. I'm a slave to that person. And I already know the lady's a rambunctious individual. I already know this is not somebody that you give control of your emotions to. You understand what I'm saying? Oftentimes we will, H-Town has a song from back in the day called Mind Taker. She's a mind taker. Ooh, that was my shit. A terrible song, but but I understood the sentiment. She's a mind taker. Don't get your mind took, because that's what will happen. And then they have control. And if this is somebody who has ill intentions, oh, you got to find yourself in a world of hurt, an emotional whirlwind, or an emotional roller coaster like what's her name? Vivian Green. Emotional. Yeah, up and down, round and round. And the nerd has already been on that ride. He's totally bought that t-shirt and gave it away to some bum on the way to becoming a better person. So I don't want to let this lady drag me down and pull the worst parts of my character out. So I have to be very careful with the way that I handle the situation. I have to be very careful with the way that I handle, because I have to be honest. Does this lady have some sort of emotional authority over me? And once I got to drilling down on that, I was like, no, because the emotion that she elicits from me is anger. And I found out that it's not that I'm angry at her. I'm angry at how weak I was in the moment with her. I'm angry at how I allowed this individual I'm angry at how I was ever so weak that I allowed someone to treat me so poorly. And that's what you have to find out. That's what real growth is. I see a lot of bullshit memes on Facebook talking about real growth is X, Y, and Z. No, real growth is when you learn how to sit with these uncomfortable feelings and get down to the causes and conditions so that these things do not hold sway over you, so that these things do not pepper and ruin your relationships. Because let me tell you, that every relationship moving forward, until that is identified and until that is dealt with truly, every relationship moving forward is going to be peppered by that situation. So you could see a lady do something that could be similar to a behavior that this lady displayed, and you'll automatically put that on her. And it may be untrue. It might just be some regular ass girl shit that girls do. You know, girls always have a roundabout way of complimenting you. I see you with your little haircut, you know, and this was something that this lady would do. Like, I don't give a fuck what great thing happened in my life. If I had became the president of the United States, she would be like, I see you with your little Oval Office and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't matter what happened. You know, it was like, hey, man, I won the Nobel Peace Prize because I cured AIDS. Okay, anybody could have cured AIDS. Eventually, them white boys was going to get to it. You know, like, man, I never got a kind thing said. You know what I mean? Like, she's that person who's always going to remind you, boy, you ain't shit. So it's like, if I see for a long time, if I would recognize some sort of type of downplaying any of my accomplishments, or a person that seems to diminish me in any sort of way, I would always, boom, put the shield up. Hold up, bitch. I'm not going to let you tear me down. I remember I was in a place called Curl Up and Die one time because I let a bitch tear me down. I don't let bitches tear me down. And sometimes you can be overzealous in your approach with other women because everybody's not doing that. Some people are just playing with you. And I wigged out on bitches because I didn't realize I was a battered man because of this lady and the way that she treated me. Like, a lot of dudes don't. It's a lot of insecurities born in guys from the lady that they liked a whole lot. Because let me tell you, for the longest time, like, this lady made me believe a lot of things about myself that were wrong. They weren't right. Like today, like, I got shorts on right now. All dick is not created equal. Like, I'm a whole cocksman out here in these streets. But based on this lady's assessment of my sexual abilities, I didn't think I was that good, because who said it? You see what I'm saying? Now, there was hundreds of, damn, I done put my business out there. But anyway, there was a lot of girls who said something contrary to what she said. But because her assessment was that I was, you know, average, I was like, you know, I rocked with that. I'm a realist. I'm like, and I feel like I don't know why this bitch is on this pedestal in my mind, because she ain't shit. I don't know why, but it seems like she is the authority on everything in my life. And for the longest time, another girl couldn't really tell me anything like positive, because the bitch who I thought was the best bitch in the history of bitches already let me know where I stood. Some years later, this bitch tells me that I'm the motherfucking truth too. And I was like, I knew it. I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. But she thought if she built me up and if I had an appropriate level of self-esteem, I would realize that I was the motherfucking prize in the situation. Whole time, this bitch, on the real scale, this bitch was like a 6, God. On the real scale, that ain't even me being salty. That ain't even me being salty. That's not even me being salty. I swear, Sasa. It's not me being salty. Right now, by today's standards, best. This lady's a 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, dressed up and everything. Like, that would not be the first bitch that I hollered at in the club. You know what I mean? Or at the bar, or the situation, the date party, wherever we was at. It didn't matter what time of day it is. Like, this wouldn't be, like, the nerve wouldn't be like, yo, I wouldn't. But for some reason, at that time in my life, you know, it seemed like she was so much, you know what I mean? Like, more prestigious. Seemed like she was so much, you know, higher, you know what I mean, on this social status level than me. And it was like, I rolled with what she said. So, you know, you cut to years later, and I got a really good account. I got on really good account that the boy is that day. Let me tell you, I got some bitches that's way colder than she could ever be, that done told me that, man, I was the one. I know bitches that'll put their husband out right now. You know what I mean? If I tell them I'm in town. That's not me bragging. That's just me saying like where I came from to where I'm at now. I could end some marriages, but I don't do that. I use my powers for good, not evil. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lover, not a. I'm just a lover, you know. But I don't be trying to, you know, I ain't no home wrecker. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, if I return the inbox or two, I'm telling you, it's some motherfuckers that's gonna get some papers. That's all I'm saying. And once upon a time, you couldn't have told me that based on this lady's assessment, you couldn't have convinced the nerd that was true. But after a little bit of therapy and counseling, and let me tell you something, I had a counselor who was a bad bitch. I had a counselor who was also a counselor and a bad bitch at the same time. So I would get like counselor shit, and then I would also get the assessment of a bad bitch. You know what I mean? So that, like, you cannot understand what that does for your self-esteem. So it's like this lady, and to this day, me and this lady never done anything like a handshake or a kiss or a hug. I think, we have had a hug. You know what I mean? It was a sentimental moment. A great accomplishment happened in my life. You know what I mean? I had risen to the highest level in my little company, and, you know, and I was congratulated. We hugged, but nothing weird. This is like big sis, like forever. Like at one point in time, she was like God to me. You know what I mean? Like if she said it, that was the way I was doing my life. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. And it was like, this lady, and she never tried to, you know, have sleep with me. She never tried to take advantage of me and no shit like that. She would just, she stayed in her lane as a counselor, and then later on became a friend, and still is a counselor and a friend to this day. But I'm listening to a professional lady and a bad bitch spill life into me and build me up and help me see things from a different vantage point in society. I be telling people all the time, nigga, I'm on the same level with Nick Cannon and them. I just ain't got no money. I just ain't got no motherfucking money. Let me get that goddamn bag, boy. Shit, I'm gonna be able to fuck all Nick Cannon's wives. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to hit all Nick Cannon's baby mamas. I'm just as handsome as any motherfucker you see on TV. And I'm finding a lot of them niggas too. Cause I can take my shirt off. You know, I ain't gonna do it right now, but I can take my shirt off and I got body under there. A lot of them niggas ain't got no bodies under there. They just got the face. They got the actor face. But I'm telling you, I get some bread. I can knock down all them niggas' wives. But I had to get myself built up. So when this bitch come back around, and I know in reality, because you gotta know, while I was on the road to getting myself built up, I showed OG a picture of a girl. And she was like, boy, this who you been by? And I was like, man, she's everything. She was like, man, this a whole dusty bitch. And I was like, huh? No, she dope. She was like, nah, bruh. I thought you had she said, I thought you had a bad bitch out here, had you fucked up in the game. You letting a regular face bitch have you out here fucked up in the game. Oh, to hear this bad bitch tell Little Miss, refer to Little Miss shit as a regular faced bitch. I was like, oh, what? I kind of used to think that a little bit, but I was, you know, man, she let me know what this girl really was and let me know, listen, she let me in on a secret. It was some bad bitches that was around this psychiatrist place that wanted me. And I was like, what? They turned me into Stefan Urkel. I'm telling you, they turned me into Stefan Urkel. And the reason why that Meg Thee Stallion song hit home so hard with me was, it wasn't Meg Thee Stallion song. It was a Young Dolph song, Rich Nigga Bitch. Please don't wish me well if you used to give me hell. And when I was working out, I was like, ooh, I love Meg. Oh, I'm like, boy, I had to stop the tape. I was like, damn. Oh man, shit. I said, that bitch, that man, that was so, it hit home so fucking hard. It was so relevant, so pertinent. You know, like I literally stopped my workout and was thinking about this broad. Like, that's you. Don't like that is exactly how I feel. Like, I don't give a fuck about you saying nice things to me now. You know what I mean? Like, I 100% don't care. Absolutely don't give a shit. 15 years too late. You know what I mean? 12 years. I don't know how many years it was. Too late. You know, because the damage is done. You can't ever be anything positive for me. You can't ever represent anything for me in my life except for somebody who made me feel like I was less than I actually was. That's what you will always be for me. And I was talking with a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and I was like, this situation that I'm talking about happens all the time. It's just that usually the man is the person who's diminishing the woman. The thing was, I was so young and inexperienced at the time that it was the same dynamics, like how some of these so-called pimps, you know, get these young girls while they're still mentally undeveloped, and it's like they implant these what do you call these, like hang-ups or these insecurities. They put these insecurities in these young girls, and they always look at this guy as like the authority figure. And for myself, it's weird because you think of a man, especially someone who people in the town know, somebody with a reputation, like a big, strong guy, you know, you think about him being a victim to that degree, you know what I mean? Like to the point to where somebody had you like so far mentally gone, like, bro, like you didn't understand your own worth. So, like, but I'm here to say that there are a lot of guys who find themselves in that situation. A lot of domestic violence situations stem from the fact that this guy really feels mentally backed into a corner and he has nowhere to go. And the difference is there's no phone number to call for that guy. There's nobody to call. You like if a woman felt that way, she could call the cops and be like, look, I need to leave. Oftentimes men are bound by duty. And for a man to leave a situation like that with a lady, if he's developed, most of the time you go into these situations, these ladies have kids. You guys now, the kids are kind of like you and stuff like that. And the kids always love you, and the kids will, so it's like you have a family. Of course, I'm from a broken home, so I'm a prime target for a single mom who has bad intentions, because guys from broken homes typically imprint on the kids imprint on the guy, because that guy wants a family. He sees a kid that reminds him of him. I want to be a father for that young man. I want to be a positive example for that young lady. And sometimes things just go awry because you have a woman with bad intentions. You have a woman with a man who doesn't have positive intentions, not necessarily bad intentions, just not positive intentions. So what happens is you end up having a whole lot of toxicity. So now the guy, he's not mentally able to be that leader that he needs to be. Why? Because this lady doesn't have the right intentions with his emotions. And he finds himself in a situation where I'm torn between duty, because I have obligated myself to this lady and I've obligated myself to these kids, but I'm being abused. And most of the time it's like, oh man, you ain't getting beat up. Oh, you ain't getting beat on. No, mental abuse is a real thing. Mental abuse is why we're convicting R. Kelly. So let's catch that dirt. If R. Kelly goes to jail, a few of us have baby mamas that should probably, at the very least, have a record. They should, at the very least, have been booked in and charged with spousal abuse, because of the psychological effect that those games have on a guy. The lasting effect that this has on a guy is how every relationship is tainted by that experience, how every relationship is tainted by that individual and their character, because that leaves not only a scar, but a smear all over the lens that guy views the world and relationships through. So you're in a relationship with the next lady. The first sign that this lady is somewhat rambunctious, you're out of there. Especially if you're like me, I'm flighty. You know, like I'll be like, oh, okay, I see what you're on. Skirt. You know, because I'd just rather not. You know, I'd rather not. Oftentimes, especially I date black girls. You know, no, I'm not racist or anything. Like I date black girls. I'm a black dude. I'm attracted to black women. And with these black girls, a lot of times, if you try to break up with them, it turns into a bad thing. Black women, y'all know how our women are. They're very confrontational. Y'all see them on Facebook. They'll jump on us. You know, and I'm like, I got a thin profile. It ain't until you right up on me. Everybody thinks I'm shorter than I am. People always meet me and say, oh, damn, I didn't know you was that tall. But girls think they can beat me up anyway. You know, I got a thin profile. I don't seem very tough. So I try to steer clear of the situation. I be like, okay, I see you may be a rambunctious young lady. I'm going to part ways with your company. But I probably won't tell her. You know what I mean? I just block her on all social media, block her phone. I'm very passive aggressive when it comes to women. And I'll just, you know, like not be around anywhere I think I'm going to run into her at. So I'm flighty. And I had to recognize that, dude, if you ever want to have a fully functioning, positive relationship, you can't always put on your track shoes. You got to take your running shoes off, and you got to stick and stay and get down to some causes and conditions, which is why I forced myself to unblock the young lady, and I forced myself to read the text messages when she texts me, and I read the messages, and I feel the feelings, and I go through the process, and it's always the same. It's anger. And then I realized it's because I still don't know how to emote properly when it comes to myself. I've learned how to emote somewhat properly with my children. I've learned to emote somewhat properly with my lady. I've learned to emote somewhat properly with my ex-wives, except for the first one, because she's crazy. I love her, but she's just crazy. There's something wrong with her. She was in them classes. I'm telling you, she one of them ones. Anyway, but I learned how to emote properly with the other people in my life, but I have not learned how to have kindness and compassion for Arshawn. I get so angry when I think about how weak I was in that moment. When I think about how weak I was with this lady. When I think about, oh my God, that's why I hate simps so much. I'm like, listen, say your shit, boy. Because, man, that's what's going to keep you strong. Is by keeping yourself built up on the inside. I don't like a guy who doesn't argue with his wife. Don't bow down to her. I'm going to just keep my mouth shut. I ain't going to say nothing. No, say your shit. Say your shit. Because every time you don't say your shit, you are letting her win a tiny little battle. And the relationship needs that. The relationship needs to grow. And the only way that relationship is going to grow is if she gets challenged as well. Because it's not as much about her arguing with you as it is about her challenging your leadership. Your leadership is always going to be challenged. If you are in a leadership role, you will be challenged. So to be a man is to be challenged. To be a man in a relationship is to be constantly challenged. You have got to stand firm on your square as a man. My dad died at a young age. I was essentially raised by a single woman. So how do you get to properly emote like a man if you don't see a healthy example of that? And oftentimes we don't have a platform. We don't have a space where we can have these emotions displayed. We don't have a place where we can, I see memes all the time. Where do strong people go to break down and stuff like that? Where do men go to break down? Who do men talk to? And it's a very sad fucking shame that it's not more normal for you to still be viewed as a big, strong man, dad, and baby, and bae, and all that. And every now and again, I'm going to shed a tear, bitch, because sometimes the weight of the world is just way too much. Sometimes I question whether or not this plan that I have is really as ironclad as I made it sound to you. Sometimes I don't really know. Sometimes I'm just doing the best thing in the moment to not look like a hoe. I don't want to look like a bitch-ass dude. So I'm going to do the best thing that keeps me from being a bitch-ass dude in that moment. And sometimes manhood boils down to a simple decision like that. Am I going to be a bitch-ass dude right here? As long as I don't look like a bitch-ass dude, I'm okay with this situation. We have to start normalizing vulnerable conversations. And that's the only way that these rambunctious ladies from the past get to lose sway over you. This lady has no emotions over me. I found out that I am sad about Arshawn. I haven't learned how, I got into this saying I didn't learn how to emote properly with myself. And that's because I get angry at myself when I should have compassion for that kid. Because if I was talking to any other young man, if I was talking to that 19-year-old dude right now, I wouldn't be talking. I talk to myself hard, even in the gym. I'll be like, run, bitch. You like smoking cigarettes, don't you? Run, motherfucker. You know, like that's how I talk to myself. Oh, yeah, you like them Black and Miles, don't you, bitch? Run, motherfucker. And I do myself the same way. How could you be a punk, pussy ass, weak ass dude like that? Let this lady run roughshod with your emotions. How could you do that? You know, like I should have been strong, but I wasn't. I wasn't strong, and then I found out I'm not mad. I am heartbroken for that kid. I am heartbroken for that kid because I know that that kid is somewhere out there right now because they didn't stop making rambunctious bitches who will diminish the importance of a young man. They didn't stop making young men who don't have an example of what healthy manhood looks like. They didn't stop making young men who have low self-esteem. They didn't stop making young men who need some help. So I say that to say, you learn to be more compassionate with yourself, because that's what I had to learn. That's what unblocking the lady and reading her bullshit text messages, letting the feelings come up, sitting with the feelings as uncomfortable as they were, and they still are. They're still uncomfortable feelings, and identifying the source of these feelings. And then once I identified the source of the feelings, I had to make sure that I was emoting properly and projecting the proper emotion onto the situation. It wasn't anger. It was wrong of me to get angry at myself for being that weak. It's heartbreaking that a young man was out there in the world by himself that weak. It's heartbreaking that a young man was so unprepared to be in life alone like that. That's sad. So now I understand what the Christians talk about. It happens for a reason. Now I have the wisdom from that experience, and I have the pro-social positive twist to the entire situation. I now not only now understand that situation, but I understand how to help another young man in that situation in a pro-social way. Not, oh, toughen up, boy. Oh, stiff up your upper lip. You're all right. You're all right. Hey, go fuck some hoes. Man, that's all you need to do, get some new bitches and you'll feel better about it. Because that's usually the kind of advice that we get from other men. Well, I used to, until I started knowing better men. Once I started knowing better men, I know men who talk the way that I talk. I know men who are like, yeah, man, that sucks, but don't throw your life away. Yeah, man, that sucks, but don't fuck your life up. Yeah, but hey, man, you got to pick yourself up at the end of that. Yeah, but we got to get back to business. Business as usual. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I hope and pray that somebody got something out of this, because I didn't have a topic for this week until I heard that song by Meg Thee Stallion, and until I had to go and get with myself about some things that I didn't realize were still an issue for me. Well, like I tell you guys all the time, I don't have all the answers. I'm not entirely sure that I asked the right questions. But what I do have is the courage to ask the questions that I do have and look for those answers and share. Share. Like I want you guys to do with my videos. Like, comment. I know it gets kind of sketchy sometimes for the homies to like look at, videos where I'm like naked and stuff like that, bro. But share it anyway, okay? We know you're not gay. It's the support, okay? Just support me. Share the picture, crop out my pubes and then share the picture. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want you guys to help me out. Before I get off of here, there's a few of you still on here. Listen, I'm trying to think of an OnlyFans name that my kids won't be able to find, because I got kids out here and somebody asked me about doing an OnlyFans. And so I was going to do, I'm going to seriously think about doing this OnlyFans thing, because let me tell you, I will never in the history of my life put any of those ladies out in my inbox. All I'm saying is that, listen, help is on the way, baby. Help is on the motherfucking way. My name is Arshawn Wade, a.k.a. The Angry Nerd, a.k.a. Arshawn, the mouthpiece, the cat that got lost in Arkansas on his way to South Beach, a.k.a. Arshawn, a.k.a. Sean with a motherfucking R. Peace.